Welcome to Pour It Out. I'm Haley.
And I'm Brandy.
We are thrilled to welcome our first guest to Pour It Out. We are sitting down with Katsi Merritt, and Katsi was born and raised in Tallahassee. She is now a successful real estate agent, entrepreneur, and new mom. So we are super excited for our listeners to get to know Katsi as we expand on episode 5 and what it means to chase your vision.
Hi,
Katsi,
Katsi.
welcome to Pour It
Thanks
Out.
for joining us.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
So excited to sit down with you and just kind of dig into your life and your ventures. And let's get started. So we'll open by asking you what you're pouring it out with.
So I am drinking my favorite Prosecco from Trader Joe's, and it's strawberry raspberry flavor. And I'm not ashamed to say that it's only $5.99.
Listen, we love a good deal around here.
That sounds good. I like the flavor combo.
Yeah, I've not heard of that. Is it Trader Joe's brand?
It is not, but you will see it right when you walk into our Trader Joe's near the cashier. They have like a peach flavor too. They're all really good, but strawberry raspberry is the way to go.
Nice.
Good. It sounds like a Sour Patch wine.
Yes, it's like a little bit fizzy, but not too much.
Brandy, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a LaCroix watermelon kind. Trying to drink them up before summer's over.
I loved that flavor last season, but this summer I've tried it and I just don't love it as much. I don't know.
I so wish I loved like the seltzer drinks, but I just can't.
It's a work in progress for me.
It is a work in progress. When I first started drinking LaCroix, I hated it and I just was bound and determined to like it. So I just drank it until I liked it. Honestly, that sounds
and
nuts.
Now she's like a sparkling connoisseur.
I think sparkling water like comes out of my pores.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all are
my favorite thing to drink. You just really honestly, you just have to find a flavor that you like. And then you're all right. Well, let's get into it. So Katsi, if you want to start by telling us about yourself and a little bit about your background, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into your ventures.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. So I was born and raised in Tallahassee. I am married to my husband, Calvin. We met at TCC, I guess formerly the community college. And we just welcomed our first baby, Lincoln, in January of this year. So I've been very busy with that. Prior to real estate, I was a dental assistant for many years. It's not that I hated it, but it just definitely didn't feel like what I'd be happy doing for the rest of my life. In 2021, we made a huge change. We sold our first home, and my husband is a nurse, so he did travel nursing. During that time, I just kind of did like a fresh start. I worked on getting my real estate license. Now I'm a full-time realtor and have my side hustles and also care for Lincoln.
You're not busy at all.
It's a full plate.
You really just went for everything at once.
I will admit I don't have much time for myself, but that's just the season that I'm in right now.
I feel like you and I have pretty similar backgrounds on leaving the healthcare front. Was there any defining moment that you knew like, hey, I don't think that this is the right fit for me moving forward? Or like, what do you think really led to you making that decision?
It's crazy to say, but I almost felt like trapped inside of like the dental office. Like I felt like I was just like in 4 walls all day, just kind of trapped. Couldn't wait to make it to like the hour lunch break. I always heard, the saying of do what you love and you won't work a day in your life kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not very happy doing this, and I have so much longer in life to live, hopefully. So I should do something that I know I love, and I've always had like a passion for interior design. Real estate kind of goes hand in hand with that, and I knew it was like something easy to get started with on a career change.
With Tallahassee being a smaller town, like have you found that it was kind of easy to jump into some other things with a market as saturated as Tallahassee is?
I truly think that, it's a blessing being from here, like having so many connections, especially with real estate. I've gotten tons of referrals, working with friends and family. And then the same with Keiko, like my mom's coworkers will hire us for birthday parties or events and things like that. So we've been very fortunate. Also, my sister has been a huge, part of Keiko. So we kind of jumped into that together as a sister business. And I truly could not have done or started it without her. It's a lot starting a new business, and just having that kind of partner with you to get you through the startup and everything was a blessing.
Sure. It helps to have somebody else to kind of work through all of those new things and problems and issues and that you have with starting a business.
Yes, we can definitely relate to that. Just having someone to bounce ideas off of. Or you mentioned Keiko. So for all of our listeners, tell us what that is.
Going off that, it's our sister business. So the name came from both of our middle names is Kay, C-A-Y. So that's how we got the business name. And it really happened. Me and Calvin got married in 2020 during the middle of COVID. So that was fun. But after our wedding, I had all this stuff. Why try to like get rid of it or sell it when I could just keep it and rent it out to other people getting married? So basically it started from my wedding decor, and then we just built over time, thrifting, getting stuff off of Facebook Marketplace. My husband's very talented on building things, so he's built a lot of our things. He actually built our cotton candy cart, which is called the K cart. So that was amazing. And I actually got that idea when I was scrolling on Pinterest one day, looking for more, like wedding ideas that I could add to our collection. I was like, oh, wow, cotton candy at a wedding. I was like, that's unique, and I've never seen that before. I started doing more research on it, and then the closest one I found was in Orlando. So I'm like, okay, Tallahassee or a surrounding area doesn't have it, so this would be something cool to bring to Tallahassee. I did a consultation with the cart in Orlando to get more details, and then researching the sugar. It's shipped here from Hawaii, all organic, gluten-free.
Oh, that's cool.
See, and that is something that I feel like really sets you apart in that, because so many of us are looking for cleaner options, especially like, Brainy, that's something you talk about all the time. Like, we've always been really health conscious, but then I feel like when you become a mom and have kids, like that's something, especially for your kids, that you're looking for even more.
And you're paying attention to the ingredient list more so than I think you ever have as a new mom. You're putting this in my body. I'm putting this in my child's body. That kind of takes on a different context. I know that we grew up, drinking Hawaiian punch and all that stuff, but now we have so much knowledge about things like sugar intake and certain dyes and all that. So people really pay attention to that, especially things like cotton candy that I'm sure that you get not just for weddings, but also like kids' birthday parties, different events. So
it is actually huge at little kid birthday parties. So you're so right. So many parents are more health conscious for their kids. So it has been great offering that. And then we do like custom toppings, like they can pick whatever toppings they want to put on it. We base it towards like the theme of their birthday party or the theme of their wedding.
Like going back to that, Tallahassee's a small town. Side hustles are such a thing right now. How did you come up with that idea? And like, I guess really, like, to your point, it was research.
Yeah, really just seeing like a picture on Pinterest sparked the idea, and then just researching it more and more and looking into other companies. That's what I love about business owners. I feel like when you find the right ones, they're willing to help you and give you their experience and what's worked for them and what hasn't. That's also what I love about Tallahassee's vendors is I've become such good friends with the other vendors. Sky from Fizz and Foam, she'll refer things to me and I'll refer things to her. So it's just so wonderful collaborating and not really doing competition.
I was also going to ask, so once you got the idea, I know that you kind of pulled it from Pinterest and then started doing your own research. What was kind of the first avenue that you ventured out into making it public?
Keiko rental business always had a website prior. So we really just added it onto that website, and we've kind of just made them like sister companies to each other. What we did for the launch is we did a styled shoot at Goodwood. I had, people dress up like they were getting married. We had, the whole wedding dress and everything. So that was fun. Gearing it towards weddings and trying to get the word out that way.
Yeah, and then people can see really what you're offering because you're presenting it to them. That's a great avenue to to get the word out.
Yeah,
That
I
is such a
highly
good idea.
recommend, like, if you're starting a business, to try to partner with other businesses in town to do a styled shoot, because it's just a great way to get content for everyone.
No, that is such a good idea. And you obviously already had the event rental company. Because you already had an existing company, do you feel like you encountered any sort of difficulty launching the K cart, or do you feel like everything kind of flowed seamlessly because you were already established?
I feel like it kind of flowed pretty well. I did make a separate Instagram page for the K cart, so it was like, a lot in the beginning of trying to move people over to follow the K cart profile, but also posting on both really helped. So I definitely think if you're an established business, you have more luck, but then, there's tons of things now of like running Facebook ads and things like that you can do to get your business more established.
Too, I would say once you kind of started the Keiko and then you introduced the K cart, that just represents so much growth in a company and constantly expanding. When exactly did you add that on to the Keiko? What year was that?
Keiko was 2021, so it was probably 2022 when we added the K cart. There'll also be something up and coming that we'll be adding soon too.
Prior to the K cart, when you decided that you wanted to do an event rental company, we do have some much larger vendors in Tallahassee that offer that kind of thing. Did you have any sort of action plan to kind of get your name out there and kind of set yourself apart from these larger vendors?
Yes, so true. There is definitely larger companies and they're definitely more established. So I kind of knew I was gonna always be competing with those bigger companies, but I really just kind of wanted to focus on maybe things that they didn't have, like more vintage items, more handpicked, handmade items. That's kind of what we focused on, was more like backdrops or vintage rentals that people didn't have. Look at what their inventory had, and I was like, what are they missing that I could offer that they won't be able to get from this company?
On that creative side, just really expanding and making sure that it's not replicated around here. So advantageous, because then people that are looking for those certain creative different things, that stands out to them, and that's going to make them choose you guys over a large vendor that they're maybe more familiar with.
Like, we have worked so many weddings with the larger companies. Like, some people will just get, the big arbor from us to get married under, and then get, tables and chairs from the bigger company because we don't offer that. So it's nice, also working together as a team as well.
For both the K cart and Keiko, what are some of the most memorable or best experiences that you've had over the last few years?
We have done a few of like the wedding expo type events, and those are always so much fun, meeting, all the upcoming brides and vendors there. So we've loved being a part of those. And then of course, styled shoots are another one of our favorite things to do, getting together with our vendor friends.
Yes, I have noticed that you guys are very heavily involved in other women-owned small businesses. You're always at like a boutique that's locally owned, women-owned, and I just think that's so neat, that collaborative environment that you guys are creating.
I'm definitely all about supporting other businesses and especially other women. So it's been really fun meeting people and supporting each other over the years.
And then it kind of works both ways, because you guys all, then maybe some of their followers get to see like, oh, there's this K cart that I could use for my next event, or vice versa too.
I feel like too that is one of the really neat things about these pop-up side hustles that have become so popular. It really isn't coming from a place of malice or competition, because most people that do, and there have been plenty of people that have been successful enough in their own right that they've been able to turn it into a full-time venture. But for the most part, it really is just creative side hustles like I have a bunch of wedding decor. Like, why don't I rent this out? It was never meant to become your full-time job. So I feel like all of these women are willing to be so much more collaborative and just kind.
You're so right. Like, most of us have like another full-time job that's our main priority, but this is just like the fun side that you get to do.
Yeah, that creates such a fun environment and really lets your creativity shine. Sometimes working another job, you can feel the grind sometimes. Those creative outlets, even though it is a side hustle, and it allows you to really express that side of yourself, and I feel like everyone has more fun.
On the Okay, on that front, most of us have, other full-time jobs and we're doing all of these side hustles, in between. And to your point in your intro, you are a wife and a mom and an entrepreneur and a real estate agent. Have you found anything from like a time management perspective that kind of helps you manage all of these different ventures?
So I will be the first one to admit I do not have it all figured out because, the Instagram, everything happy is not always what everyone's life is actually like. Definitely it's on my, radar, sit down and figure out, things that will work better for me because if I'm being honest, most nights I'm at my laptop till midnight because Lincoln's down and I actually have the time to sit there and dedicate to answering emails or getting my real estate stuff done. Really, in this season, I'm kind of at this late night kind of work environment. I will say what has worked for me is I've always been a paper planner girl. So I write everything down in my planner. That's like what I go by. But my sister, Maya, she actually, for Keiko in the K Cart, she created us a Google calendar that, we're both synced onto. It has all of our events coming up and the dates, the location, everything. So that helps me stay organized as well.
Shared calendars are huge. I have a couple with some things I'm doing on the side, and Brandy and I utilize some. And then with my group of friends, we're all just so busy that we started a joint calendar. I will say from someone that's just started that it's already very beneficial. Planners, do you have any particular brand that you love that you've used for years, or do you kind of switch it up?
So I do use the same brand, and I think it's called a Colo, but I actually get it from TJ Maxx or Home Goods. Yeah, it has like the little tabs on the side and like colorful stickers to go with things. So that's always been my favorite planner, and it has, like half of this year and then all of next year. So that's really helped me because a lot of times with Keiko, we're booking out into 2025 already.
Yeah, so that kind of gives you a wide range of dates that you can see what your future looks like. And you're so right too that especially as a new mom, if you're working still in the professional field, that can be a lot to juggle because your time just isn't your own anymore. Figuring that out is difficult. Almost a year and a half into it and I still haven't figured out. So I feel like it's a constantly changing, ever evolving what works for you in one season might not work in the next season because they're growing and changing so fast. To make time for yourself and make time for things that are important to you, like your business, growing professionally. Yes, all moms are just winging it, honestly,
yes,
just figuring it out.
We're just surviving, right?
Sometimes just hanging on by a thread.
Let's say that somebody is listening to this that has been thinking about starting a side hustle for a while. What advice would you give someone that's thinking about, starting up some sort of creative venture?
I would definitely say just go for it. It's never going to be the perfect time in your life. That's what Brandy was just saying. You might, have a kid or you have this or that going on. There's always going to be something in life that's going to come up or you think you're too busy. But I think you just need to go for it because, sometimes like your passion or your hobby could actually become something that you end up loving and you become very successful at where you could make it a full-time job. So really, I think just going for what you want to do and just pouring your whole heart into it.
You've started 2 different ventures relatively within a short period of time with the Keiko and then also real estate. So with that probably comes a good bit of stress, like we were just talking about time management, like making it all function. What are some things that you do to kind of unwind or relieve some of that stress? What are some of the things that you enjoy doing?
I live out in the country now, so me and Lincoln love taking walks. We do a 4-mile walk at least 3 to 4 times a week. So that's really nice, just being out in nature. And I actually sometimes listen to y'all's podcast, but sometimes I just listen to nothing and I just listen to the birds and everything and just kind of take a quiet time because life is so loud and busy that sometimes you just need that moment of silence.
I don't think you've ever been as overstimulated as when you are a new mom.
Calvin makes fun of me because it'll be like Lincoln's crying, the stove vent fan is on with him cooking.
The phone's ringing. Yeah.
And I'm
just too much noise. Yeah. Sometimes I'll just go sit in my car for, a good 5 minutes and I'm like, there's just silence. It's really nice. But yes, finding that time to kind of unwind, decompress, especially when things are being probably thrown at you all day long, not just with Lincoln and being a mom, but also just in real estate. Real estate can be a 24/7. People want to hear from you at 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday evening, and just that pressure to be on all the time can sometimes be really heavy. And also too, being a small business owner and the coordination is a lot.
It definitely is. And I will say, like, I do not have it all figured out. I just do the best I can, really.
To Brady's point, clients are, kind of expect you to be on all the time. And then with these other side ventures too, everything that you do is extremely client facing.
Yes.
And your referrals, as a whole kind of, obviously play onto your customer service. How do you manage being client facing and being very customer centered while also maintaining boundaries?
So my first year in real estate, I really would, answer all hours of the night to people texting me. Calvin would be like, we're trying to have dinner, like you're on your phone. Yeah, especially now that I'm a mom, I really do need to, be there and be present. Definitely tried to get all my real estate tasks done 5, 6 o'clock and then just be done. One of my real estate mentors told me nothing really is a true emergency in real estate. It's not really like you need to be speaking to someone at midnight. It can wait till like 8 a.m. the next day. So I do push off things that aren't an emergency to the next day. And that has really helped me. I am a people pleasing person. So I'm like, I got to answer them. I got to get back to this person. But then I'm like, I'm neglecting my family.
No,
Definitely,
and I think that's such great advice, because I think that is a really big stigma with, event companies or real estate. It's the idea that the opportunity is going to pass you by if you don't answer right then.
Right. And I think the biggest thing to know, even if like you're starting a company or if you're in real estate, if they don't want to work with you because you didn't answer within an hour or whatever, then was it truly like the person that you want to be working with?
Nowadays, everybody has their phone in hand 24/7. So they expect you to have that constant line of communication.
Yeah.
And so something that both me and my husband have found helpful is setting our phone down. And if people don't understand, then okay, they don't understand. But for my health, my mental health and sanity, I have to set this down and not be constantly on all the time. Because in today's world, it is so easy to do, because all you have to do is have your phone with you. And people have that constant line of communication. And so establishing that boundary and setting that, I feel like, is very important, especially in these lines of businesses.
And I think now being moms too, like we don't, you don't want your kids to always see you on your phone. They want you to be paying attention to them, which is important.
Being intentional and noticing those things, it'll definitely open your eyes when you have young kids watching you, your every move.
Yes, for sure.
It'll make you be like, wow, I've been on my phone trying to answer emails or trying to figure this out. Ring true that you just need to set it aside and focus on them, because they don't understand that you're working, and they won't for a while.
Well, Katsi, you touched on this for just a brief second a few minutes ago, but what I want to end with that I am just so fascinated by. So you and your husband, you just said you moved out to the country and you built a barn dominium.
Yes.
I am like so intrigued by. So can you just briefly walk us through that and how y'all decided to do that and what that process was like?
So I will say it did not come without lots of tears and stress. But yes, we have our dream land now. We're on 8 acres, which is really nice. And I'm so excited to watch Lincoln be a boy and out here running around one day. I had 4 storage units I was paying for with all my Keiko stuff because my prior house didn't fit it all. So I was like, with our new land, why don't we build like a big warehouse type area to house all the Keiko stuff? So we have a small living area and then a huge garage here, basically. It's not great now, but we only have Lincoln so far. But it's going to be our mother-in-law suite later, and then we want to build a bigger home down the road.
That's such a neat concept.
I'll definitely need something bigger with hopefully future kids down the road.
And you guys finished that up right before Lincoln was born?
Yeah, I was very, very pregnant when we moved in. So sadly, I was not much help, but we have lots of friends and family, so that was great.
That is awesome too, that you have the land that you want, and then you can kind of grow and build as your needs, grow and change, and with your businesses, and then also personally too.
For sure. Yeah. And down the road, if I'm not doing Keiko, in 5 years, my husband will hopefully have a boat or something. He wants to park in there.
He always needs storage. So.
Yeah. He's probably hoping that you aren't doing it in 5 years. So he's got a place to park the boat.
Yes. Yeah. We love that.
We just appreciate so much you coming on and chatting with us. And we're really excited for our listeners to learn about you and hear about your background and kind of the different facets that you've been able to expand upon since choosing to do something different with your career.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
We will link all of Katsi's socials, her event company, her real estate company. So if y'all are in the Tallahassee or surrounding areas and would like to talk to her, we will link her contact information.
Cheers, y'all.
Thanks for pouring it out with us.